the idea that, like, if there's a pandemic, we better put the mask on.
Yeah, we're having an entire freak out among small business owners about if they can get people back into the workplace for the same wages. Meanwhile, it's the masks that are about control in society right now.
Right, exactly. We are going to roll back in a bunch of Republican states the extended or increased federal unemployment benefits. And we're worried about the control issue regarding masks.
And we're going to prevent you from wearing masks in school, even if you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Texas and Iowa, I think it is, or Idaho, have outlawed mandating masks in schools. So schools who may even have an outbreak can't say you need to wear a mask. And I got news for you. That's going to happen. That's going to happen somewhere. Here's number 10.
So yesterday, the resolution that you brought to the floor about masks was tabled. Is there anything else that your conference can do or plans to do to change the mask requirements currently on the floor?
Well, we would just like to abide by the science. What's interesting is you look at this building, there's a chamber for the House and a chamber for the Senate. But apparently, COVID works differently in both chambers. Because in the Senate, you don't wear a mask. In the House, you have to wear a mask. The only difference is the speaker. She doesn't want to abide by the CDC rules. She actually wants to have greater control. That, to me, is a real frustration on all that we have happen. How can the Senate not wear a mask and then the House in the same building? To me, it's all about it. That's not true.
Are you encouraging the rest of
You said 75%. Half your conference is 25%.
So for people that didn't hear that, the reporter said you said 75% of, like, the conference is not vaccinated. And McCarthy goes, you said half, it's a different number. And the reporter goes, half your conference is 25%. It's math.
Yeah. The bottom line is that there's a bunch of people in the House who are not vaccinated. And there's not as much of the people in the Senate who are unvaccinated. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. There's only 2 Republicans in the Senate out of 50 Republicans that are unvaccinated by my recollection. And it's something like only 93 Republicans in the House out of, I forget the exact breakdown, but it's 435 members of the House. Roughly cut that in half, 93 out of that half. I think, right? God, why am I doing numbers off the fly? The fly.
The bottom line is the reporter said half your conference is not vaccinated, and McCarthy said that's not true. And the reporter said, well, you said only 75% are vaccinated in the House. And just, it's understood that we know that all the Democrats are vaccinated.
Yes, every Democrat is. Right.
And McCarthy said, well, you said half. And the reporter said, well, yes. Half of your conference would represent 25% of the members of the House. Therefore, only 75%. I mean, McCarthy's just trying. I mean, first of all, he's an idiot, but he also is just trying to, avoid this issue of they're not getting vaccinated, and the vaccine is 90, let's say it's 95%. We can't know exactly, but more or less between 90 and 100% effective in terms of preventing you. It's near 100% effective in preventing you from dying of COVID. It is near 95% effective in preventing you from getting COVID, period. But if you do get COVID and you're one of the 5%, you get it. You have the opportunity to pass it on. Look what happened with the Yankees. Okay, these guys are in close quarters. One of them got it. And they're all vaccinated, the vast majority of them, as far as I know. They got a strain. I think they only found out that they got it through testing. I don't think any of them were symptomatic in any way. And the problem is if one of them goes into a store with somebody who's maybe hasn't gotten vaccinated, doesn't have the ability to get vaccinated, maybe immunosuppressed, whatever it is, or has someone like that as a family member, or if, let's say, you're a politician and you're in the business of shaking a lot of different hands, you're seeing a bunch of different people, it's dangerous. And so, it's perfectly reasonable that you would wear masks there. And you know what else is even perfectly reasonable? That you say half the country, a third of the country, somewhere in between there, is not getting vaccinated. And many of those people are not getting vaccinated because, A, they are either politically disinclined to get vaccinated, and I do mean politically, or they live in a state that is controlled by people who are Republicans who are politically disinclined to get vaccinated. And so what we're doing is we're just signifying, we're just performatively wearing our masks to give those people who are holding up the vaccinations or hesitant to do so some type of encouragement to get vaccinated. That is also a legitimate exercise by the leaders of a country.
Republicans would never do anything performative.
That's true. That's way beneath them.
You forgot that.
Way beneath them.
I mean, they're going to get a staffer or a staffer's family killed from COVID.
If it hasn't happened already.
Right, exactly. And I mean, we're on a downswing now, and hopefully that lasts throughout the summer. But I mean, Manitoba's having a spike right now. Like, I imagine there's a possibility we'll see another one that they have to try to cover up that eventually leaks out in publicly.
Hopefully not, just because, like, Canada's vaccine rollout's been, like,
it's actually picked up now, though.
It's picked up.
It's picked up dramatically.
But I mean, we're far ahead in terms of, like,
they're starting to catch up. They're starting to catch up in Canada. And just in the past, like, 3 or 4 weeks, they're starting to catch up from a percentage standpoint. But we are going to have these outbreaks. There is going to be a news segment at one point over the next 6 months where, like, there's a spike in this city or that state, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. All right, last clip of the day, just because Steve Ducey, like, where the hell, like maybe he's misspeaking here. That's the only thing I could say. Here, let's play this. Here's poor Steve Ducey on Fox and Friends, the only one who took COVID seriously on the show, and here he is.
Think about it this way, folks. Here in the United States of America, 52,000 Americans have died from COVID. 52,000. I was shocked to see that 33,000 of them actually lived here in New York City, which is shocking. 2 million Americans have been impacted. So how did it come to infect the entire planet?
Hold on. Like, I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he thinks it's 520,000.
Yeah.
It's 580 by, plus.
Right.
He repeated it. Then he said 30,000 New Yorkers.
In New Yorkers. So he could
New
make
York
that.
City.
Yeah, he could make that contrast. Mm-hmm. But then he also said there's 2 million Americans affected by it. And that, I don't even know what that figure could possibly be. You've had at least 580,000 deaths, right?
So
it's probably
52,000 New Yorkers have died of COVID.
New York Cityers. Oh, that's what he was. He got that wrong. I don't know where he got the other numbers. And the funny thing is he's looking around like...
And New York City, 33,000 deaths.
Okay. He's looking at New York State. And maybe he's talking about 2 million New Yorkers.
And 2 million cases in New York State.
Yeah, that's what he meant. But at one point, you'd think somebody on the thing go like, wait, in the United States or in this state? But,
all right, well, we figured it out.
There we go. We've cracked the Steve Ducey code.
The Ducey enigma.
Exactly. All right. Going to read a couple IMs, and then we got to get out of here. I'm sorry, folks. Dave Rubin, a Democrat. If the conflict is entirely seen in secular terms, Israel looks horrible, so they menace worshippers around Al-Aqsa to provoke an explicitly jihadist response and make it a religious battle against scary Muslims. That may be the case. They also know, like, how to basically, force Hamas to respond. Sammy Key. I already read that one. The Tim Caucus. Oh, I read that one too. Militant apathy. Bernie was a genius to say Palestinian lives matter. It has a name now, and their movement can rightly piggy off of BLM. Love it. Boss move. PLM is going to be a thing.
It's like the natural next step. It's just like, anyway. When people see it in those terms, it's a lot easier to reach regular folks, I think.
Sam's worn out Floby. The vote of president on Capitol Police raising funding from AOC and Bowman is ridiculous and will only help serve the likes of Dimmy Jordan and his ilk to continue bashing them and claim they're not progressives. I mean, it will certainly have that impact. It was also Talib, I believe, also. We've been looking around for some type of explanation of it, and it is either that she was just really, I mean, she was genuinely disturbed by the whole thing and is, genuinely afraid but conflicted, or it could be B, they wanted to sort of buy into the idea that we shouldn't be giving cops more money, broadly speaking, particularly for just a failure of leadership that could have actually dealt with the thing. But she is, I mean, it seems to me she is definitely trying to make some inroads and deciding that in some places she's not going to make a stand if she doesn't think that it's like structurally important. I mean, I think it's problematic to throw money at the cops there when they could have dealt with this. It's just that they didn't respond. Leadership was messed up. I mean, Pelosi's calling for the firing of them. They should be fired. I also don't like the idea of militarizing your capital. I think that just is bad. But from a structural standpoint, I'm not as like the implications of this. I would rather, if I was given like we're going to give $1 billion, $2 billion to the Capitol Police, and we're going to, take away $500 billion in federal funding to police around the country. I would choose the latter as opposed to stopping the former. Let's put it that way. I mean, not just because of dollars, but yes, it's a bad vote in my estimation. Sam soft collared shtick. Hey Sam, what type of joinery do you use mostly? Dovetails, half lap dominoes, or pocket holes? Do you have an Insta of your woodwork projects? I do not have an Insta. I use pocket holes quite a bit. I use just butt joints often. I don't know what half lap and dominoes are, and I sometimes use biscuits.
I don't know what the fuck is
less. Now you know what it's like when you start going off about, like, I don't know, the football draft or something.
The football draft.
Radic-lib. Samglish is the word of the year. Resent is now a noun as well as a verb, replacing the archaic and ungainly resentment. Yes. And the final I am of the day. Oh, shoot. Hold on one second. Here we go. Dude, bro. Oh, shoot. Is PA real? We'll try one more. I don't know what that means. Nick from PA. Hey, MR crew. The PA state system of higher ed has been facing cuts and now slated for consolidation of 6 schools to 2. Tell folks to follow at Defenders Pass He. Defenders Pass He on Twitter, as we are fighting against consolidation for a fully funded state system of free public higher education. That's Defenders Pass He on Twitter. All right, thanks all. All right, folks, Emma, Matt, Brendan, great job this week. Folks, see you Monday.
It might take all the strength I got to get to where